The room fell silent the moment my ex-wife laughed and asked if I was still playing hero while raising a little girl alone. Every head at the charity banquet turned toward me. For a second, I felt that familiar sting crawl through my chest, the one that comes when someone reminds you of every sacrifice you've made and every dream you've buried. Maybe you felt something similar before. Maybe someone looked at your struggles and saw weakness instead of strength. If that happened to you, would you stay quiet, or would you finally stand tall? My name is Ryan, and 3 years earlier, my life had fallen apart in a way I never imagined. I lived in Columbus, Ohio, and worked as a project manager for a large real estate company. My daughter, Sophie, was only 4 years old when my marriage ended. The divorce itself was painful, but what hurt most was watching the person I once trusted slowly become someone I barely recognized. My ex-wife, Vanessa, decided that motherhood felt too limiting for the life she wanted. She left, moved across the country, and rarely called. Sophie would sit by the window waiting for promised video chats that never happened. Those nights broke me. I would finish work, rush to daycare before closing, make dinner, wash clothes, help with bedtime stories, and then stay awake worrying about bills. There were months when I survived on coffee and determination. While other people spent weekends relaxing, I spent mine working side jobs and trying to create happy memories for my little girl. What made it harder was the judgment. People praised single mothers and they deserved every bit of it, but single fathers often faced different reactions. Some assumed I was incapable. Others treated me like a temporary substitute parent. A few even asked whether Sophie would be better off with someone else raising her. Every comment felt like another weight on my shoulders. Yet every morning, Sophie would run into my arms, and suddenly the weight became worth carrying. When she turned 7, things became even more difficult. My father became seriously ill, and medical expenses piled up. I exhausted most of my savings helping him while continuing to provide for Sophie. There were nights when I sat alone in my kitchen wondering how much longer I could keep everything together. Around that time, a major change happened at work. The company hired a new CEO named Victoria. Victoria Carter was one of the youngest self-made billionaires in the country. News outlets loved writing stories about her success. Employees expected someone distant, cold, and intimidating. Instead, she surprised everyone. She remembered names. She asked questions. She listened. One afternoon, I had to leave an important meeting because Sophie's school called. She had fallen during recess and was crying for her dad. I expected criticism for leaving. Instead, Victoria stopped me in the hallway and told me to go take care of my daughter. A week later, she asked how Sophie was doing. Then she remembered Sophie's name. Then she remembered her favorite book. It sounds like a small thing, but when you've spent years feeling invisible, being seen matters more than people realize. Over the next 2 years, our professional relationship grew into a genuine friendship. Victoria admired dedication. I admired kindness. She never treated me like a struggling single father. She treated me like a capable man doing his best. Still, I never imagined anything beyond friendship. She was wealthy, powerful, and admired by everyone. I was a tired dad trying to survive. Then came the charity gala. It was one of the biggest events our company hosted each year. Business leaders, investors, and local politicians filled the ballroom. I attended because Victoria personally encouraged senior staff members to be there. That night, I hadn't expected to see Vanessa. But there she was. Elegant dress. Perfect makeup. Confident smile. For a moment, old memories rushed back. Vanessa approached with a group of acquaintances. At first, she acted friendly. Then the conversation shifted toward family and relationships. Someone asked whether I had remarried. I told them no. Vanessa laughed. Not a nervous laugh. A cruel one. She said she wasn't surprised because most women didn't want the responsibility of raising another person's child. Then she casually mentioned that she had always known I lacked ambition and that becoming a full-time father had probably finished whatever opportunities I once had. The words hit hard because they came from someone who knew exactly how much I had sacrificed. Around us, people shifted uncomfortably. Nobody knew what to say. I looked down for a moment, trying to remain calm. Then something unexpected happened. A hand gently touched my arm. Victoria had been standing nearby. She had heard everything. The room grew even quieter. Without hesitation, she stepped beside me and wrapped her arm around mine. The expression on Vanessa's face changed immediately. Victoria looked directly at her and calmly spoke about dedication, character, and integrity. She described the strength it takes to raise a child alone. She talked about showing up every day when nobody is applauding. She talked about courage. Then she said something I will never forget. She said that success wasn't measured by money, titles, or social status. It was measured by the people whose lives become better because you refuse to give up on them. As she spoke, she glanced toward me. The room understood exactly who she meant. Vanessa's confident smile disappeared. For years she had viewed me as a failure because I chose responsibility over convenience. Yet standing there, surrounded by people who respected Victoria's judgment, she suddenly realized that the qualities she mocked were the very qualities others admired. The embarrassment on her face wasn't caused by wealth. It was caused by truth. After the event ended, Victoria and I spent hours talking. Not about business. Not about Vanessa. About life. About family. About loneliness. About dreams that survive even after heartbreak. For the first time in years, I felt understood. Months later, our friendship slowly became something deeper. Nothing happened overnight. There were no fairy tale shortcuts. Victoria first won Sophie's heart. She attended school events. She helped with science projects. She showed up. Again and again. And Sophie noticed. One evening, while we were eating dinner together, Sophie looked at Victoria and asked whether she planned on staying in our lives forever. Victoria's eyes filled with tears. She promised she would try. That simple moment meant more than any grand romantic gesture ever could. 2 years later, we married in a small ceremony surrounded by family and close friends. Sophie walked between us holding both our hands. As I watched my daughter smile, I thought about every difficult night, every unpaid bill, every moment of self-doubt, and every painful comment that once made me question my worth. None of it had been wasted. The struggles that nearly broke me had also shaped me. And the love that finally found me wasn't attracted to perfection. It was attracted to perseverance. As for Vanessa, she eventually reached out and apologized. Life had humbled her in ways she never expected. I accepted her apology, not because the past didn't hurt, but because carrying bitterness would only steal joy from the future. Sometimes the people who walk away teach us resilience. Sometimes the people who stay teach us love. And sometimes, when life seems determined to close every door, God quietly opens one you never even knew existed. Before you go, tell me in the comments, have you ever been judged for doing the right thing, and how did you overcome it? And if this story touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe so more people can be reminded that true strength is not found in wealth or status, it is found in love, sacrifice, and never giving up on the people who need you most.